Hi guys, I'm Robert from Master Guitar Academy. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make backing tracks using GarageBand and two pieces of software from TuneTrack. They're called EZdrummer 2 and Easy Keys. Those two are probably my favorite recording tools because they're so helpful and useful for songwriting, and they're really easy to use as well. Alright, so I have GarageBand started. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to make a simple practice track using 4 different chords. And I'm going to start by double-clicking the piano here. Well, first I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it C major practice. It's just a little 4-chord diatonic chord progression that's good for practicing, and it's good for my students. It's actually going to be in the key of C major, but I'm going to change it to 80 beats per minute. It's a bit of a slower practice track. Click create, and we get the default view here. It looks like this when we're starting it up. I have this little keyboard player, but right now the sound is coming from GarageBand. The sounds are generated by GarageBand. So I'm going to get rid of this piano view, and the first thing I'm going to do is to switch this to EZdrummer because I want to get started with drums. So what I do is click on edit over here. For the sound generator, I'm going to change it from piano to EZdrummer, which I have installed on my machine, and it gives me a MIDI input has changed message. Just ignore that. So if we double click on this sound generator icon, we're going to bring up EZdrummer 2, and this is what it looks like. It sounds really, really nice, and I have a bunch of different libraries installed, different sounding kits, and you can buy extra ones from TuneTrack depending on what kind of style your tracks are going to be. I like the Nashville one. It sounds really nice. So when I click on it, it loads a different looking kit and different sounding kit. So I can just click on these, and there's a lot of tweaking that you can do within EZdrummer 2. I'm not going to go into that stuff. I'm just going to make it really simple. I'm just wanting a simple groove here with piano, drums, and bass. So one thing I could do is to go into search and use this cool tool called tap to find. Then it wants me to click the drums here to create a groove. And my mouse is a wireless one. It's kind of slow to react, I'm noticing. So let's see if I can do it. I'm going to have to click a little earlier than what the click is indicating. So that was not very synced, but there's a quantize function here that you can use to correct it. Let's see if I can do a double. Oh, that didn't sound good. Let's go back to 8th. And I'll just add another double bass drum double kick there. Alright, let's see if I wanted something like that. I click on show results, and it's going to search through all the grooves in the program to find something that's matching what I was playing. So I can preview by clicking here. It's really slow. Let's change this to this one, Wonderful Night. That's very similar to what I was playing, only it's sounding better, of course. Because these little loops that you hear here, they're created by professional drummers, so it's going to be played in a very musical and professional sounding way. So that's one way you can locate grooves. Another way is go to the browser and just go through these different libraries and add-on packs that you have or may not have. If you don't have them, that's okay. The program comes with a few options, but you can purchase more of them, have more sounds libraries, or add-on packs with different sounding grooves that drummers have recorded. So I can go into any of these and just preview a ballad straight 4/4, 74 BPM. Click on variation 1. And then I can just have a look at some of the other variations to see what differences there could be between them. Sounds great. Just great variations so that your drum tracks don't sound so stale and sterile, so to speak. Now let's see, I have kind of already looked at the Nashville library here. Ballads, let's see, medium push 72. Now my project is set to 80 beats per minute. This is 72, but that could still work. Let's have a look at one of these. That's pretty nice. I think I like 3 better. All right, so I have one simple groove that I'm going to use for this simple backing track. Now, one way I can build this now is to drag it onto this timeline for Easy Drummer 2, and from here I can add variation 4 if I wanted that right there, and I can build my drum track like this. It's extremely flexible, and then when I start playback in GarageBand, it's gonna play back what's in here. So even if you close Easy Drummer, now you see nothing on the timeline here, but it's still gonna be playing it because the program knows that's there. I'm turning off the metronome, right? And then it stops because that's all that was there. So I'll double click on it again and we can see it. Now another way you can do it, actually I'm gonna control click, I'm gonna select them first with the mouse, and then I'm gonna control click and just remove them. Another way you can do it, of course, is to just click on the one you want here and then drag it, click and hold, and then drag it onto the timeline in GarageBand, and it shows up like that. And for this mini project, that's all I'm going to need. Instead of having to open up Easy Drummer every time I want to make any changes, I'm just going to make it extremely quick and simple and just drag it onto here. However, if I wanted to be more serious with my track here, I want to use the tools here because I can do so much more. I can change the subtle differences in playing style and how loud each piece in the drum kit is and so on. And there's a mixer here, you can tweak things too. Okay, but that's good enough for now. I'm just gonna have a very, very simple groove like that. And I can click up here in the track view here. You see the indicator changes to this little circle thing. That means we can repeat it by click and hold and drag to the right. So this way I can have this one simple drum loop repeat as many times as I like. I can change the size of this thing by dragging down here. And how long is that? Let's go to measures. No, not measures. We're going to do time. Now click, let's see, 1 minute would be there. That's how long our track would be. Let's do 2 minutes. If I click over here, we can see there's 2. All right, so I click, continue this and just drag it over until I get to about 2. I can zoom in more with this guy. And I can see I dragged a little bit too far. It doesn't really matter. All right, so that's the drum track is done for this practice tune. And if I click and hold on the grand piano text, I can change the name to drums, which will be much more helpful. I can change the icon to, instead of having a piano, but it doesn't matter. As long as I can read drums, I know what's there. Okay, with the drums are ready. Let's add some keys. So I click on create new track. I double click on the piano for software instrument. And again, it's going to load the grand piano that's built into GarageBand. Let me show you the musical typing thing. I don't have a MIDI keyboard installed here right now, so you can actually play with your typing keyboard. Pretty cool. I mean, it's very limited, but it could be enough for making simple projects. All right, let's close that. So we need to now go into easy keys, and I'll show you how useful that is. So we switched from piano being the sound generator to easy keys. Get the MIDI input message. Let's click OK. I double click on the sound generator icon, and now easy keys is loading. It looks like this, and it's designed in a similar manner to EZdrummer 2. There are libraries in here, and as I mentioned, for EZdrummer 2 you can purchase several of these to give you different types of sounds. The grand piano sounds wonderful. If I select it, you see it takes a little while to load because these are sampled big sounds. Right, really nice sounding pianos. I'm going to use the electric 200A. Sounds awesome. It's going to fit what I'm doing, hopefully. I can also change the, what do you call it, the style for this library. So I can have a phaser ballad type of sound. Basically, we're just getting effects added on to its default sound. You can have a rotary speaker sound. I'm gonna go with tremolo delay. You can hear the delay there. Pretty cool. I can make it even louder, bring it up the mix. I think it was around 15, 20 or something like that, probably best. The tremolo, the depth, let's bring it up. It's a little fast, I want it slow. It's almost blending into the delay in some ways. It's kind of cool. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, so what we do now is to click on browser, and in the same way as we had in EZdrummer, there are MIDI libraries that has real playing of professional musicians playing the instrument. We have add-on packs. I have a blues, country, funk, gospel, jazz, pop rock, and R&B that I can go into and find, not grooves, or maybe we can call it grooves. In EZdrummer 2 it's called grooves. These are styles of playing, and there's variations on each. And this is so helpful for us who can't play keyboards. It comes loaded with the MIDI files that real players have recorded, so we can just use it in our projects. It's so helpful. Right, cool. So I'm gonna go into Easy Keys MIDI and just use something simple. Pop rock, straight 4/4. Let's see. Slow push. Let's do variation 1. And variation 4 sounds like this. So you can hear they're more busy. The higher this number is, it tends to be more busy and more variation in the playing. I'm gonna use a fairly simple one. Let's try this one. It's quite basic, so let's try that. I'll drag it down here on the timeline for easy keys, and here's where the magic happens. Now it comes with this chord progression, C to F to G to C to F to G, but I can easily change this. My chord progression is going to be D minor 7, G7, C major 7, and F major 7, or something like that. So I just click on the chord name here, and up comes this cool little interface, which lets us change the chord. So I'm going to click on D minor, and it starts playing with that MIDI style of rhythmic playing that's already there. Let's add the minor 7th. Oh, that's good. That's all I need. That's for one measure. For the next one, I'm going to use G7. Click on G. 7. Now, if I want more control, I can click on Details. I can change the inversion of the chord. So you see the notes within the chords are rearranged when you click the minus and plus here. I'll leave it at 1. And this one lets you play it higher up on the keyboard or lower. Just like that. All right, the second chord down. Let's go to the third chord. It's going to be C major 7. C. It's a 9 right now. Let's click on major 7. It's kind of low sounding. Let's see what it sounds like if we bring it up. That's too much. Let's change the inversion. That's good. Now if I take out the 9, it sounds like this. I like it with the 9, so I'm going to leave that in. Cool. Okay, the fourth chord is our last one. We're going to choose F. Major 7. Let's change the inversion. Maybe try the 9 here too. I didn't do too much. 13. That's too much color for this purpose. I'm just going to leave it at F major 7. And that's it. Those are all the chords I want. Now what I could do is to click on the scissors here and just split it right here. Go back here and control click and choose remove. Oh, by the way, you see you can randomize chords too if you want to come up with your kind of practice chord progressions with just random chords so that you don't always play the same stuff. That's kind of a handy feature. So now it randomized the chord progression. So it's A minor, D minor, D minor, G. But I'm going to remove it like that. And let's go back. You can undo here. If I didn't want to use the scissors, I can actually just click here and drag to the left until I get to the end of what I want, at the end of the F major 7. And that's it. So now if we play back, I can either play it here or I can play it from GarageBand. See, it's going to start at the same, it's starting at the first bar. It knows where that is here. So I'm going to change in GarageBand to measure so I can see better. On a start playback from GarageBand, I'm just going to put my cursor to the beginning of this project and then we'll try it out. There we have it. We're almost done. Now you can then control click, or you can choose copy. If you option and click and hold, and you can copy it several times. Or you can do it this way. I'm going to undo that as I did with the drums just to make it really simple for myself. I'm going to drag it onto the timeline of GarageBand and it shows up like that. And now I can remove it from here and close it. If you leave it in here, it's going to play kind of both. So if you make changes here and you still have a copy of it down here, they're going to be treated as two different things. So as I said with Easy Drummer 2, it's best to build your more professional tracks within this timeline because you have much more control. But for a quick and dirty approach, this works too. So I can now repeat this how many times I like. Just put the cursor up here and it changes like that, and then drag to the right. I stopped at 2 minutes, which was over here. And of course I can just set it to repeat. If I just want to be practicing within GarageBand, I just need to have any of these 4 bars. And it will just keep going around and around. But I might want to export this to an MP3 or something I can share with my students, which is what I want to do most of the time. So I'm gonna get rid of the repeat there for now. And then let's go to the beginning here and let's add some bass. I click on new track, software instrument, and this time I'm going to go into edit again, and I'm going to be using a bass sound from GarageBand. Bass. I double click on it. Like before, I can change the sound of the bass. These are the ones that are in my GarageBand. And I can listen to them by using the musical typing, for example. Change the octave. A little lower, it sounds better, I think. I'm gonna go with upright jazz bass, I think. I like that. So I'm gonna close that. I can now record the best I can. Now remember, my typing keyboard is a wireless one, so it's little slow to actually go into the computer. So I'm gonna have to try and hit the keys just before I'm supposed to. So the notes I'm gonna play are C, which is here, and then G. No, sorry, the first one is D, of course. The first chord is D minor. So D, G, C, and F. Just really simple like that. I'm gonna try it. So I have my bass track selected. Let's change the name to bass so I don't confuse myself. And I will make sure I have count in here selected so I have some time to get ready. And then I hit record. I'm gonna start with this D here on my keyboard. Here we go. And I stop there, and let's clean this up a bit. So I double click on this guy, and you can see that it's sloppy. I'm not right where I should be with my timing. So I can Command A selects all of them, and then I use quantize note timing and set it to quarter notes. Should fix it up. See how they jumped into place now? I can zoom in and out with this guy. Let's see to make sure we have the length is correct. It's going to be 4 bars, right? So let's see that it's ending where it should. All right, so I think that's good. Let's now repeat this a few times, and it should match up automatically. And my track is almost done. Let's listen here, and maybe we want to do some panning or adjusting the volumes. Maybe the bass is too loud. Bring up the drums a little bit. It's important for my students and for myself to really hear the rhythm. And then, that's pretty good. That's basically all I need for this purpose. I'm going to be practicing the C major scale and arpeggios and triads and all this kind of stuff to this track. It's a diatonic chord progression, in C, so that's all I need. Now, before I show you how to share it, I just want to show you that if we click the repeat button here, I could share only a part of it. I can drag these handles of the repeating function. Now it's going to be 4 bars, I believe. And only share a short little piece of it, or I can select all of it, and so on. And that can be useful in certain situations. And if you don't have it selected at all, it's going to be exporting everything that's on the timelines from the beginning to where we have an end of a track. But this is good enough for this purpose, so I'm just going to click on export song to disk, and it's going to ask me for some options here. Let's choose high quality, right? MP3 or AAC. It tells you what it's going to be, in 128 kilobits per second stereo, 2 megabytes, and that's good. Export it and call it, in my case, C major practice. Save. Is creating a mix down based on the panning and the volume changes I did. And my backend track is almost ready to practice to. Now this is a very basic sounding track, of course, but hopefully you can see that you have a lot of options in both EZdrummer and EZkeys to tweak the sounds, the playing, lots of different grooves and variations on the playing that you can use to make your recording sound more professional. But in my case, I'm just going to use a simple one for showing you how it's done, and for myself and most of my students, this is all they need. They want to hear the chords and get started quickly to practice to these things. But of course, if I had more time, I would sit and tweak this more and make it more professional sounding, but this is great. So that's it. I hope you can see how useful GarageBand is. A great tool which comes with a Mac, built in. I think it's fantastic that it's actually included. But hopefully you can see how useful Toontrack's EZkeys and EZdrummer 2 is as well. They are really professional sounding tools, and they're easy to get started with, and they're super helpful for songwriting. And for a guy like me who make backing tracks for students, and for myself, and even for songwriting ideas, and I can make really good complete sounding tracks with this software if I want to. So hopefully you can see the value and how great this stuff is. So all right, that's all for now. I will see you in the next video. Take care.